The man had his hand on his gun, on my front lawn, and all I was doing was moving into my own house. His wife screamed for him to arrest me, said I was trespassing. And just like that, my American dream turned into a standoff with the HOA and a badge-happy suburban cop. I just bought a house in Maple Grove, a clean, quiet little suburb outside Austin. Took me 8 years, 2 job promotions, and a whole lot of skipped vacations to get here. I'm Jerome Walker, senior software architect, proud new homeowner, and apparently public enemy #1 to the neighborhood's self-appointed royalty. The first box I carried out of the truck was books. That's when she showed up. Blonde bob, pastel blazer, lips pursed like she'd tasted vinegar. Evelyn Carter marched out of her house across the street like she was preparing for war. Didn't say hi, didn't introduce herself, just stood there, arms folded, burning holes into my soul with her stare. Then it began. "Excuse me? Are you with the moving company?" I smiled, tight, professional. "No, ma'am. I'm your new neighbor, Jerome Walker." I extended my hand. She looked at it like I'd offered her a dead rat. "This is a very exclusive neighborhood," she said. "The Hendersons wouldn't sell to just anyone." I swear I almost laughed. Almost. But instead I jingled my house keys and said, "Well, they sold to me." And that's when the mask slipped. Her face twisted up in a mix of disbelief and outrage, and she stormed back across the street, dialing someone on her phone like she was summoning the National Guard. I kept unloading. Every book, every framed degree, every inch of my story laid bare in cardboard boxes. Proof that I belonged. That I earned this. 20 minutes later, a police cruiser rolled up. Lights off, but sirens had flashed for just a second, enough to catch the neighbor's attention. That's when I met Officer Terry Carter. Bald, bloated with authority, and carrying himself like he owned the whole damn subdivision. Spoiler alert, he didn't. "What seems to be the issue here?" he asked his wife, not me. She pointed like she was spotting a wild animal. "He says he owns the Henderson house." Carter finally looked at me. Took in my button-up shirt, slacks, the movers I was directing. Didn't matter. His hand hovered near his holster. "I'm going to need to see ID and proof of ownership." I paused. Long enough to make a point, not long enough to escalate. "Of course, officer," I said. "Just curious. Am I suspected of a crime?" He didn't answer. Just frowned harder. I handed over my driver's license and the closing documents I'd wisely kept in the glove compartment. Something told me this neighborhood would be paperwork heavy. He studied them like I was smuggling nuclear codes. Meanwhile, Evelyn stood on my grass. My grass, talking loud enough for everyone within 2 blocks to hear. How do we know he's not lying? People like that will say anything. People like that. That's when things started to feel cinematic. I was about to pick up another box when Evelyn got too close, way too close. She jabbed a finger toward my chest. "This is trespassing. You're not fooling anyone." And then, whether by intention or because her rage took over, she shoved me. Harder than you'd think for someone that petite. I stumbled back, catching my balance. That's when Terry reached for his gun. "He assaulted my wife," he barked. I didn't shout, didn't raise a hand, just looked over at Marcus, my mover, who had been filming from the truck bed. "You get that?" "Every damn second, boss." Terry turned toward Marcus. "Put the phone down, now." Marcus didn't flinch. "We're on private property with the owner's permission. We're filming for insurance." "You're interfering with a police investigation," Terry shouted. I took a step forward, not aggressive, just firm. "What investigation would that be, Officer Carter? The one about a black man daring to own property?" That's when the second cruiser pulled up. Enter. Captain Maria Delgado. Short, composed, Latina, and very clearly not about to play games. She stepped out, glanced at the scene, and her eyes landed on Terry's hand, still hovering near his belt. "Officer Carter," she said. "Status?" He stammered. "Captain, we've got a potential trespass." "He showed you ID?" "Yes." "Ownership papers?" "Yes, but—" "Any inconsistencies?" "No, but his attitude—" She turned to me, already done with his nonsense. "Sir, I apologize. Can you tell me what happened?" I told her, calmly. Start to finish. Evelyn's accusations, Terry's threats, the shove, the slur, the filming. She nodded, then turned to Marcus. "You got all that?" "Two angles," he said, holding up another phone. Delgado reviewed the footage on the spot. Twice. Said nothing, then turned back to Terry. "You're relieved of duty. Badge and weapon now." Evelyn's jaw hit the sidewalk.
"Wait! My husband was protecting the neighborhood."
"From what?" Delgado snapped. "A man moving into his own house?" Evelyn lost it. Stormed over to a stack of my boxes and, no kidding, kicked them. One burst open, scattering my books across the driveway. "Now you have something to call the cops about!" she screamed. Delgado raised an eyebrow. "Congratulations, ma'am. You just added destruction of property to your charges." That's when Evelyn, bless her heart, ran. Tried to make a break for it across my lawn, like she was escaping a hostage situation. She made it 3 steps before tripping on a sprinkler and face-planting into my flower bed. Handcuffs, dirt in her hair, and a dozen neighbors filming the collapse of Maple Grove's queen and her king. As they were loaded into separate cruisers, her still screaming, him sweating bullets, Captain Delgado turned to me. "Mr. Walker, if you need anything else, you call me directly." I nodded, barely able to process what had just happened. And the thing is, that wasn't even the end. But that? That was the moment I knew I wasn't just fighting for my house. I was fighting for the right to exist in peace. To not be interrogated on my own damn porch. To not be seen as a threat for doing what every other neighbor did. Just live. So yeah, maybe I didn't throw a punch. Maybe I didn't raise my voice. But I stood my ground, and I let the camera do the rest. Sometimes, the best kind of justice is the kind that goes viral. What would you do if you were me?